Hello, Star Citizens, and welcome to Review Every Ship in Star Citizen. We reviewed every ship in Star Citizen throughout the 2024 calendar year. This is just adding the new ones to keep true to our series name and provide a one-stop shop for every ship you need a review for. Remember, digital ships aren't imaginary, digital ships are imagine necessary. This month's giveaway prize is going to be a Missed Fortune. To enter the contest, make sure you leave a comment on at least one video, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure you like or dislike at least one video. Winners have 2 weeks to claim their prize. Members collectively have a greater chance of winning just for being members. So if you're subscribed, consider hitting that join button. And if you're not subscribed, I appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. For the full giveaway details, make sure you visit our Billionaire Ninjas Discord or our social media at Ninjas Leap. We will reveal the winner for this one in March at the beginning of Stella Fortuna. Today, we return to the Anvil manufacturer, and the next ship is the Anvil Super Hornet Mark II. We have the Super Hornet Mark II at $240 standalone, $220 war bond, and $220 at concept. Cost in game is unknown, and in this one we have something a little bit weird. We have the addition of something new to Star Citizen, a multi-use upgrade, which is the $30 Heartseeker, which adds 2 size 4 turrets to any Mark II Hornet. If you were fast enough, you could also get this upgrade at $25 war bond along with the Koromor themed armor set. So technically $30 with credits and $25 war bond. The Super Hornet is back and upgraded to Mark II spec, making it deadlier than ever. The only Hornet model with 2 seats featured a dedicated gunner's turret for increased firepower, accuracy, and all-around combat proficiency. The Anvil Super Hornet Mark II.
Ada, we have a secret mission. Take my hand. Come with me on this adventure.
I'll go with you. But I don't want to touch you.
For measurements, the Super Hornet Mark II has a length of 24 meters, beam of 19 meters, height of 6.5 meters, and it is a size 2 small ship. Its minimum crew is 1 and its maximum crew is 1. It can carry 0 SCU externally, and it has about 1,290 micro SCU of internal stowage. The claim time for the Super Hornet Mark II is about 10 minutes, expedited is about 2.5 minutes, and the expedited fee is at about 5,000 credits as of 4.0.2. For speed, the Super Hornet Mark II has a top SCM speed around 215, which is below average for its class and size. The same can be said for its nav max speed at 1125, which is way below average in its class size. When it comes to maneuverability, it has about average maneuverability for its class size. For weapons, the Super Hornet Mark II has 2 pilot-controlled size 3 Panther laser repeaters, 2 pilot-controlled size 4 Revenant ballistic Gatlings, a size 5 remote turret equipped with 2 size 3 Panther repeaters and 8 size 1 cross-section missiles, no man turrets, and 8 size 2 infrared missiles. So there is a turret that has those 2 size 3s and those 8 size 1 cross-section missiles on it. The hull HP for the Super Hornet Mark II is about 15,250, which is average overall for its class. The shields on the Super Hornet Mark II are the all-stop military grade C bubble type shields. The total HP is about 5,200 and the regen rate is about 120 HP per second. For ship parts, the Super Hornet Mark II has 1 small radar, 1 small computer, 1 medium power plant, 2 small coolers, 3 small shield generators, 2 fuel intakes, 2 fuel tanks, a small quantum drive, a small jump module, and 1 quantum fuel tank. For fuel, it has above average hydrogen capacity for its class. For quantum fuel, it has average capacity for its class. For quantum capability, the Super Hornet Mark II uses the Goliath Industrial Grade C quantum drive, which makes it planetary, meaning you will be able to travel to another planet in the solar system and maybe the next solar system one way, but for the latter, you may need to refuel once along the way. For special features and amenities, the Super Hornet Mark II has a second seat for a co-pilot, but no armor locker, no weapons racks, no bathrooms, no beds, no storage lockers, and no food processors. My preferred loadout for this ship, I keep the ballistic Gatling stock and the turret missile stock as well. I change all the Panthers on this ship to attritions. I swap the stock shields for military grade A shields, same for the stock power plant, the stock coolers, and swap the stock quantum drive for the military grade A. A quick shout out to my members, my first ninja, Arthur Vandalay, Survivor the Hero, and Ray. My Billionaire Ninja, Villain by Default, and my Hokages, Old Weeb, ETL in Spades, and my Jonin Ninjas, Radium TX, Paling Tan, The Solid Exodus, Damon Danielson, The Real Phil 64, and Rage 1. And of course, all of my other members from every level who are all listed at the end of the video. As always, membership is never required, but always appreciated. You help make this YouTube dream even more possible, so thank all of you. Now it's time to rate this ship, a rating I rate from 1 to 10. My 1 is only buy if you have a unique reason that is specific to you, or because you like the looks of the ship. My 10 is basically, if you have the money, this ship is almost guaranteed to be useful to you in the game. A 1 doesn't mean the ship is useless or ugly, and a 10 doesn't mean that the ship is perfect. Just remember, this is just our rating. Please give us yours in the comments down below. We're a good team here, me and Steve. What do you mean you've been gone for months now? No, you haven't. It wasn't my imagination. You were editing videos. What the? Anyway, my rating for this ship overall is an 8. Let's start with what I like about this ship. Well, this is perhaps my weirdest review yet, because this ship is excellent for most Star Citizens, unless you own one specific ship, the F7A Mark II. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. This thing is a very powerful, heavy fighter ship. With 4 size 3 weapons and 2 size 4s along with 16 missiles, it's also tougher than all of its sister ships in the F7 Mark II line as far as HP. It seems to be accurately outfitted as a true heavy fighter. It has the ability for small multi-crew gameplay with that second seat. It also looks incredible, especially with the new skins, and that Heartseeker skin is great. The second person also allows you to keep ships off your tail. Lastly, I really like that this gives people without an F7A Mark II kind of an alternative option to get that same firepower, and the ability to control the turret from the pilot seat is an extra bonus. So what are the issues with this, and how would I fix it? The biggest issue for this ship is the existence of the F7A Mark II. That ship is capable of producing almost exactly the same amount of firepower output as this 2-person ship. In fact, I would venture to say that the F7A Mark II is the better overall ship by an inch, which means there aren't a whole lot of reasons to own a Super Hornet Mark II if you have the F7A Mark II. The reason being that the Heartseeker upgrade that used to be an entire ship hull in the Mark I series is now just a swappable weapon turret along with the skin that is compatible with the other Mark II Hornets. The F7A Mark II with the Heartseeker upgrade is just as useful as the Super Hornet Mark II, except of course you don't have that extra seat. And it's slightly less tough, but for both of those things, it really just depends on what your needs are. I can't really say if I have an F7A Mark II that I absolutely need a Super Hornet Mark II with the Heartseeker upgrade if I have the Heartseeker upgrade on that F7A. That means my suggestion is that people who own the F7A Mark II, along with the Heartseeker upgrade, look at this ship as though it's a score of a 6 rather than an 8. Without the Heartseeker upgrade, look at it as a 7 instead. That only applies to people who have the F7A Mark II. If you do not have the F7A Mark II, this ship is indeed an 8. Like I said, a weird review, because its usability and viability is dependent on what's already in your fleet. The way I would have improved the ship is to give it a special loadout only accessible to the Super Hornet Mark II, where the Heartseeker only replaced the size 3 guns instead of also replacing the turret missiles. I also would have made it a bit more tough to make up for the fact that similarly equipped ships can match the Super Hornet Mark II's firepower. That means both better shields and better armor. However, I have a feeling the more they balance the game, the closer this ship will get to what I'm asking for here. I also wish it had an external weapons rack, but that may be coming in a later patch. So who is this ship for? I think this ship is for the people who missed out on the F7A event. It's the closest thing you can get to the F7A without owning one. It's a great ship for everyone who doesn't own one, but still a good ship for people who do. It's for people who primarily play with another person, but it can still be operated alone, although not at its optimal efficiency. So why is it an 8? It's a great combat ship, just like the F7A Mark II, but as always, that's mostly based on the skill of the pilot. not necessarily the ship. But big guns and extra armor don't hurt. It's slower than the F-7A, but obviously has the second seat, an extra shield, and extra armor. It evens out with the lack of maneuverability in comparison. Like I said, I prefer the F-7A Mark II by a hair, but I think that's the way it should be. The Super Hornet Mark II is a bit expensive, but it's pretty much worth the price of admission if you weren't able to get your hands on the F-7A Mark II, which is another gripe that I kind of have with it. It's a little expensive for what you get. However, that's only if you have an F-7A Mark II, because otherwise you're just not going to be able to get that type of firepower for cheap. So your only option really is to get the Super Hornet Mark II. I imagine using this ship as my backup fighter for the F-7A while it's out of commission. It's also a great carrier fighter because its size still allows it to fit on most ships with a hangar. This is a decent heavy fighter on its own, but if I don't have a second pilot, I would only run it with the Heartseeker upgrade. With the second pilot, I would actually keep it stock just to make sure that I have access to those missiles for my co-pilot. I know you're here for our rating, but if you really want a ship, go buy it. We won't stop you, or even better, all ships can be earned in-game once the game releases, and some you can purchase in-game right now. These are just our ratings. But when you spend, it's your money. My opinion, everyone who owns an F-7A Mark II, and especially with a Heartseeker upgrade kit, would have a difficult time justifying it. But if you try hard enough, you can. Outside of that though, it's a great little two-seat fighter and holds its own against the competition. I have one in the fleet currently, but because I have an F-7A Mark II, it's going to be an earning game for me. All right, that is it for this one. Shout out to the members. Thanks for spending your time with us. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.